Hey guys, I've gotten this request a couple times, so I thought I would address it. What if Metal Sonic became a hero in Sonic IDW? In case you forgot, or just don't read the IDW comics, there was a point where Sonic actually offered a truce to Metal Sonic, since, as far as he was concerned, Eggman was gone, and now Metal was all alone. Of course, as Eggman said, Metal Sonic's system demands battle and conquest. And on top of that, he has a personal hatred for Sonic, so he declined this offer. But what if he had accepted this fresh start? Well, for one thing, I feel like Metal Sonic still would have gone off on his own for some time. After all, even if he agreed that he's not going to try and kill Sonic anymore, that doesn't mean they're immediately friends. Quite the contrary, Metal Sonic exists to surpass Sonic, but yet he can never seem to. That cocky little needle mouse always seems to somehow pull out a win, and this would enrage the machine as it essentially debunks his very meaning of existence. So, his initial response would be rage, and he would just want to be left alone. But, given enough time to think, perhaps he would ponder on different ways he can surpass Sonic. As much as he would hate to admit it, at this point in time, there is no way he can defeat Sonic in a straight fight. Heck, he couldn't even beat Sonic with the backing of the Eggman Empire. Now, that army's all but gone. And sure, Eggman's out there somewhere, but he's not himself right now, and Metal has no realistic way of finding him. Times truly are changing. And maybe, just maybe, he should try changing with them. Eventually, whether Metal Sonic likes it or not, he's gonna have to find someone to give him the maintenance he needs. So, with dread in his spirit and a feeling of shame, he marches towards the newly formed Restoration HQ, in hopes of being invited with open arms. Of course, most animal folk aren't exactly pleased to see an infamous Super Badnik march into their place of peace, but most of Sonic's friends would have known about the truce that he has with Sonic and be willing to help him, if begrudgingly. Between the genius engineers they have at the Restoration and a significant amount of help from Miles Prower, Metal Sonic would be fully back online. And, as he was programmed, he would seek out battle and conquest, but this time against the forces of evil. Now, up until this point, I'm fairly confident on how things would play out. But going forward in this what if, honestly, I'm not sure what would happen. If the Metal Virus arc still happens, Metal Sonic would be a great help to the Restoration. After all, he's practically as fast and strong as Sonic, but he can't get infected with the virus. So until the Deadly Six show up, Metal Sonic would kinda be the MVP of this story arc. But that's assuming the Metal Virus arc even happens to begin with. As you may remember, Metal Sonic was essential to turning Mr. Tinker back into Dr. Eggman due to their strong emotional connection. Seeing as Dr. Starline had kidnapped Mr. Tinker and began torturing him to try and turn him into Dr. Eggman once more, it's fairly unlikely Metal Sonic would ever find his creator, and those torture methods would probably end up killing the Doctor before they would ever bring back his memory. It's definitely not impossible for Eggman to return, but I could equally see this being the end of Dr. Eggman as a character, and the rise of Dr. Starline as the lead villain of IDW. You know, until they remember they can't have the Sonic series without Eggman, so they just bring him back somehow. But during this very brief period where Eggman would be out of action, maybe we'd see an early version of Surge and Kit. Or Starline mentioned that he was thinking of building a robot, so maybe we'd get to see that. Maybe a rival for Metal Sonic? Who knows? As for Metal Sonic himself, although I'd imagine he'd be somewhat of a lone wolf, maybe he would work with one of the other teams, whether that's the Diamond Cutters to keep close with the Restoration, or maybe he would work with Team Dark. I mean, he did kind of work with them in Sonic Free Riders. Honestly, with this what if, the sky's the limits, as so many things could change. In fact, that's why tackling IDW is a little intimidating for me. The story is so tightly knit that changing one major event pretty much derails the entire series and makes it go in a completely different direction. Now, that is kind of intimidating, but it's also interesting. If I ever made this into a full-on what if, maybe it would just be a collection of one-shots, showing possible ways this story could go. But let me know if you guys would be interested in that. And I'll put it onto a list of probably do it someday, which means in the unseeable future, but hey, whatever. At least it gets a conversation going. Anyway, I've been Comic Fan 13, and I hope you have a good day.